classics like Pitfall and River Raid, Activision cemented their legacy as video game pioneers, a legacy that in another form they still carry today. On the 2600, buried among those massive hits were blueprints for the mobile games of today. Simple, perfect, addictive, score attack loops. The pitch is pure Western chaos. You're a cowboy, heading off a stampede of cattle racing across the screen. Your only tool is a lasso. But here's the genius. You're not just reacting, you're conducting. See that? The game rewards you for being quicker. Hitting a cow in the front row is worth more than the back. Catching multiple in a single throw multiplies your score. It turns panic into rhythm. It turns chaos into a score-chasing melody. This is why it's a gem. It's not just an action game, it's video game jazz. It's about finding the rhythm in the randomness. So why is it hidden? In Activision's incredible 1981 lineup, it was overshadowed by the exploration of Pitfall and the shooting of River Raid. Stampede was the pure arcade score attack, the minimalist masterpiece that often gets left out of the conversation. Its legacy is clear. It's the godfather of perfect, endless, one more try game. You can draw a straight line from Stampede to the Flappy Birds and runners filling our phones today. Number 4, Sequest, 1983. At number 4, we dive into the deep blue for a rescue mission wrapped in legal drama and genius design. Sequest. This gem came from Steve Cartwright, the Activision legend behind Barnstorming and Mega Mania. He took the basic side-scrolling rescue concept of Defender and brilliantly adapted it for the 2600. But the story starts with, as stories often do, a lawsuit. The original title, Sequest. A company that made underwater welding equipment owned the trademark. They sued. Cartwright reportedly explained that it was just a video game for kids about shooting sharks and rescuing people. They dropped the suit, and Activision smashed the words together. Sequest was born. The gameplay is a masterclass in adaptation. Rescue the divers, shoot the sharks and subs, avoid torpedoes and aircraft, and never run out of oxygen. That oxygen meter is the star. Transforms the shooter into a strategic resource manager. And this might be the key to why it's hidden. Was it too complex for kids? Maybe. Debated more than just reflexes. It required planning. Was it too slow for collectors and other gamers? Perhaps. It's more deliberate than the pure chaos of River Raid. And yes, on the surface, its endless side-scrolling score chase shares DNA with Stampede. But here's the difference. Stampede is about rhythm. Sequest is about pressure. One is a sprint, the other is a held breath. It exists in that perfect overlooked middle ground. Too smart to be mindless, too arcadey to be a sim. It's the thinking person's action game on the 2600. That's what makes it a true hidden gem. It's not flawed, it's nuanced. It represents a developer at the peak of his craft, adapting an arcade concept into something uniquely suited for the home and wrapping it in a layer of strategy that was arguably ahead of its time for the console. It's a masterpiece caught in between expectations. Mastering Sequest isn't just about a high score. Number 3, River Raid 2, 1988. Number 3 is a ghost story. This is River Raid 2, released in 1988, long after its war was over. 1988. The NES era is in full swing, yet here's an Activision game for the Atari 2600, a sequel to a 1982 classic, arriving like a transmission from a forgotten world. The trail is cold, no interviews, no marketing. It is the definition of a hidden gem, a masterpiece with no audience. But play it, and the care is stunning. An overworld map, a helicopter, tank missions. This isn't a quick cash-in, it's a full-scale expansion. A labor of love for a console the world had already left behind. And that's the first key. The coder was Dan Kitchen, an Activision veteran and legend. He did his job flawlessly, crafting this sequel in what must have felt like an archaeological dig, while it was still happening. But the story doesn't end in 1988, because Dan Kitchen's story with the 2600 never ended. Decades later, Dan co-founded Audacity Games, a studio dedicated to creating brand new Atari 2600 games in the 2020s. In 2025, they released Casey's Gold. Think about that arc. In 1988, he's coding what felt like the last 2600 game for a major label. In 2025, he's coding what could be the next 2600 game for a dedicated community. The circle is closed. So River Raid 2 isn't just a hidden gem, it's a bridge, a ghost that refused to stay dead. It's the work of a craftsman who never stopped believing, and the platform, whose final official whisper on the 2600 was this ambitious, overlooked sequel, and whose voice is now loading its modern renaissance. It was hidden because it was out of time, but for Dan Kitchen and the 2600, it seems time is finally catching up. Number 2. Solaris, 1986. And our number 2 hidden gem is the 2600 Final Defiant Miracle, Solaris. In 1986, the industry had moved on, but someone at Atari looked at this aging hardware and asked, what if we built a galaxy? This isn't just a space shooter, it's a first-person space opera with a galactic map, multiple sectors, and a sense of scale that feels impossible for the 2600. Seriously, look at this game. It looks like a Nintendo game. It's the ultimate technical flex, a game that feels like it teleported in from a more powerful console. Playing it is a constant state of disbelief. But here's the real secret, and this is why it's getting its own deep dive next week. Solaris isn't just about what's on the screen. It's about what happens in your head. It's a collaboration between the programmer and your imagination on a level no other 2600 game ever attempted. It's the hidden gem that's less a game and more a piece of speculative fiction about what the 2600 could have become. And for that, it's our number 2. Seriously, I love these games at the end of a console cycle where they look at the console and figure out exactly what they can do with it. Some of the best games come out then. And Solaris is just another one of those. Come back in about a week for a deep dive on this game. Number 1, Hero, 1984. What's the one thing you couldn't do in almost every 2600 game? Fly. I mean, really fly. Not a jump arc. Controlled, sustained, vertical flight. Our number 1 game, Hero, built its entire world around that single revolutionary idea. Think about it. In 1984, platforming meant pitfall, left, right, and a predetermined jump. Even the NES, which launched that same year, wouldn't give us true flight until Super Mario Bros. 3 and the Tanuki suit years later. But on 2600, Hero gave you a jetpack and a fuel gauge. It wasn't a power-up. It was your primary verb. And the entire game is designed around this. It's not run and jump. It's ascend and descend. Can you navigate this vertical shaft of bats? Can you hover perfectly to place your dynamite? Can you manage your fuel to reach that miner on a high ledge? This is a game about mastering the Z-axis on a console that barely had one. And as I showed in the beginning, you will bomb yourself. Perhaps constantly. Because that's the price of this freedom. The jetpack turns you into a pilot, and pilots make fatal errors. It's a skill check built into the core mechanic. That's why it's a hidden gem. It's not just a well-made game. It's a vision of an alternate future for the 2600. What if, instead of the crash, the industry had evolved on this path? Deeper, more controlled adventures built around unique mechanics like this. Hero is that glimpse. It's the 2600's proof that it could handle complex, player-driven movement long before it became standard. It's more than run and jump. It's soar and salvage. And in 1984, that wasn't just fun. It was prophetic.
We are Two Guys Gaming.